Hey everyone, Alpha Eagle here again. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well and may God bless you all. In my previous video, we talked about Nerdette's debate with Organized Chaos. Be sure to check it out if you haven't seen it already. At the end of that video, I claimed that Bob was a hypocrite and a bigot. In this video, I will prove it. Or should I say that Bob proves it himself with help from Nerdette. As usual, I have nothing against Tristan or Bob, and I will put a link to the full video in the description for context. Anyway, let's begin.
Number one, we are talking about providing a community where fans can talk and not have to worry about a lot of...
That's bullshit because there's no way I could come into your audience with the opinions that I have and have a conversation. There's no way half of my audience could.
I mean, it kind of, like, I don't see how your opinions would necessarily be shut down. Like what opinions are you talking about?
Well,
This is something I noticed of people from the left. They are very, very block happy. They love their echo chambers. Also, I think they love the power it gives them to block people. Perhaps because they are powerless in their real life. Who knows? Conservatives, on the other hand, I feel are more welcoming to people with different opinions. Also, I'm going to criticize Tristan here on her hypocrisy. She also blocks people with different opinions than her own. Now, to be fair, she does have people with different opinions on her channel, but she seems very, very selective of the people she allows on her channel who have different opinions. She'll block some people with different opinions, yet allow others with seemingly no consistency. The people she allows to have different opinions and the ones that she blocks seems to be random. Continuing.
But
I don't think calling a black man chunky monkey, for instance, is a cool thing to say.
I will say maybe that wasn't the best phrasing.
By the way, I believe I was the first person to call out the fandom initiative for calling Eric July racial slurs. Nerdette must be watching my videos.
Well,
you realize how many videos you would have made if that was said by them?
By them? I don't know why I would care.
The worst thing you have that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said was literally diversity hire. Dane has said worse about real people, not actors.
Well, number one, I'm not Dane, but number two,
But this was about the fandom initiative, right?
Yeah, it's about the fandom initiative, for sure.
Okay, and he's in it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you could argue chunky monkey was perhaps a poor choice of word. I won't argue.
Right, and to be fair, I do think he was saying like chunky monkey like the ice cream thing. But if any of those people we have previously talked about were to say that, you guys would have been on the attack.
Tristan makes a great point here. If anyone on the right had said those slurs about a black person who's on the left, these guys would be relentless on their coverage of that person. They would never forgive that person. But it's okay for someone on their side to call a black person racial slurs. The left are the biggest hypocrites on the planet.
I mean, they've said much, much worse in general.
Like diversity hire, because that's not worse.
Well, I don't know if I'd go to diversity hire, but most of these guys have dropped the N-word regularly. I mean, they've said a lot worse.
No, they don't drop the N-word at all, Bob. In a second, Bob admits that he never heard Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers drop the N-word.
I've never seen Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who I don't like and I don't consume his content, say the N-word.
Okay. Actually, I don't know if I've seen him say the N-word as well.
See? Bob hasn't seen Jeremy say the N-bomb, yet he claims that they say it all the time.
Well, I have heard him say that essentially he does this all for clicks and doesn't care.
Oh yeah, didn't he? I think most of us knew that. Like, if you watch more than two videos.
But I mean, he has admitted it, and lots of people take him seriously, and that's a problem.
Okay. The Fandom Initiative thinks that it's a big gotcha that capitalists do things for money. People can do things for money and at the same time still be genuine in their beliefs. They don't seem to understand that both can be true at the same time. It doesn't make them grifters.
Not so much you, definitely Dane acts like a moral superiority, and I have a real big issue with that. I want everybody to feel welcome, whether you're trans, white, cis. I don't fucking care if you're an alien. But
I want everyone to feel welcome, except if they're going to be spreading bigotry.
So what's your answer? Just block them and move along? Wouldn't you rather have a conversation with somebody, sort of give them your opinion, maybe educate them a little?
I don't object to having conversations, but 99% of the time when I have them, they go nowhere.
Wait, what'd you say?
99% of the time when I talk to these guys, it goes nowhere.
I've had the exact opposite experience. I have a lot of really good people that understand my opinion, but also I have people that don't even agree that marriage between a man and a man should be legal. But we've come to agreement. Yes, it doesn't mean they're fucking evil. It means they don't understand different things.
Okay. Again, I have to call out Nerdette's hypocrisy. We've had a debate about gay marriage, and let's just say she wasn't very accepting of my opinion.
Ted Cruz wants to take away the right to gay marriage. You're okay with that?
I have no problem with civil unions for gay people.
Oh my God! So you are against gay marriage?
I said civil unions are the exact same as marriage.
What the actual fuck is wrong with you?
So, if you're part of Nerdette's community and she disagrees with you about gay marriage, she thinks there's something wrong with you. So, she's not as accepting of people with different opinions as she claims to be. Now, to be fair, maybe she's changed and is more accepting of people with different views, but I've been blocked for my views. Let's continue.
It sounds to me, I mean, it sounds to me like they're being very ignorant, if nothing else.
Right, and what is ignorance? It's a lack of knowledge, right? It's a lack of understanding.
Yes.
So if you're just going to push them away, they're never going to understand.
Okay,
You're
so
simply fueling the fire.
So you need to understand there's going to be a difference. So, like, if they just believe that, but they keep it to themselves and they don't like shit on people for marrying who they love, then okay, cool, like that's fine. But like, if you're going to be out there like saying bigoted or homophobic shit to people, then you're not welcome in my community.
Again, think you need to look with it, not yourself, but you've had some, like, I would say calling a black man an Uncle Tom is super bigoted. I know you don't agree with it, but it's not something I would ever feel comfortable saying.
I mean, you are aware there's a movie titled Uncle Tom. I mean, if it's so bad, why would there be a movie named after that?
Bob's argument is so laughable. He says that if Hollywood made a movie with a title that's a racial slur, then it can't be that bad. It's such a dumb argument. There are a ton of movies out there with slurs in their titles, not to mention the many more that have slurs in the movie's dialogue. It doesn't make it appropriate to call people these slurs. Again, I can't believe how dumb his argument is. Well, if it's in the movie, it must be okay. That's so dumb. Continuing.
So you're defending it?
I mean,
okay.
It's not inaccurate. No.
Holy shit! Okay, you just defended it. I didn't expect that.
I mean...
Tristan's reaction is priceless. The first time I saw this, it didn't surprise me since I've seen Bob defend the use of this slur before. But this just confirms that Bob is indeed a bigot. If we use his own standards, he should be called a bigot, shamed, and YouTube should shadow ban him, if not remove him altogether. And remember, that's by his own standards, not mine.
That term means?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And I would never insinuate that someone's opinions are invalid.
Okay. Like if someone's actually saying bigoted stuff...
That is bigoted, and you just defended it.
How is that bigoted?
Really? Oh my god. Okay, like this is the same thing. Do you understand what you're saying right now?
Like, yeah, you need to explain how that's bigoted.
To call somebody an Uncle Tom? Because you're saying you are subservient. You are an obedient to the white person. That's not bigoted at all.
That's not quite what that term is.
That's exactly what that means. That is exactly what that means.
I feel like you're redefining it a bit.
No,
Uncle Tom is primarily a person... well, I mean, specifically, it would be a black person who speaks against a
black... Okay, here's the literal definition. A black man considered to be excessively obedient and servile to a white person. And you just defended it. Okay.
Notice how Bob tried to minimize the severity of that slur.
I mean, again, like, do you defend a lot of the terrible things Eric July says?
No, of course not.
Okay.
But I don't defend when you guys say terrible things too. Have you ever seen me defend a terrible thing that Eric July said?
No. But I mean, I feel like you are right now. You're defending him. I mean, you're talking about a guy who works for the Blaze. Essentially, he does whatever Glenn Blake tells him to, or whoever's in charge of the Blaze right now. And that's his job.
Again, Bob thinks it's a huge gotcha to point out that Eric July worked for the Blaze. That proves nothing. And it's definitely not Eric July's job to do whatever Glenn Beck tells him to do. I'm pretty sure that Eric July is just a freelance video contributor. Notice that Bob is implying that Eric July just does what the white man tells him to do. He's being very insulting to Eric July.
Responsible for you, and you just defended calling someone Uncle Tom.
I mean,
gotta be some agency in that.
Okay, I mean, I'll own it.
It's odd, especially when you say they're the one that say anything bad about when a black person's on the screen. But when a real black person tells his opinions, and I think his opinions are cringe as hell.
I mean, do you
call him an Uncle Tom?
Do you really think that's all his opinions? Because I don't think they are.
Whose opinions are they? You think that they're grifts? Is that what you're saying?
I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of his opinions from the Blaze. That's part of it.
So you think it's a top-down thing?
A lot of it, yeah.
You said Eric July didn't have his own opinions. He was getting them from the Blaze.
Well, I do know some of his opinions changed when he got hired for the Blaze. It's noteworthy.
We can assume. But we can't know for sure.
No.
Again, Bob is saying that Eric July can't think for himself and only repeats talking points given to him by the white man.
I'm not saying I know for sure, but I am saying that's noteworthy.
It is noteworthy, sure. But you said that he gets his opinion from somebody else without any evidence.
Listen, again, I'm not saying that's definitely what happens. I'm just saying it's noteworthy that his opinions change once he got a new job.
So you think that's why it's okay to call him an Uncle Tom?
I love how you guys...
Notice that Bob even admits that he has zero definitive evidence of his accusations that Eric July gets his opinions from the Blaze.
You guys I don't want to clump you with these guys. I don't think this is going. I don't want you to be an enemy. I don't. And I think we agree on more than we disagree.
Notice how Bob hangs his head in frustration and defeat as Tristan calls him out on his false accusations against Eric July.
We do, but you can't allow racism just because you don't like the person. If you're against racism, you got to be against it for everybody. Black, white, alien, I don't care.
That's not it.
But that's exactly what that was. That was a racist majority.
Tristan is 100% correct. Bob and the rest of the fandom initiative have all called Eric July racial slurs, and by their own standards, that makes them racist bigots. But they justify their bigotry by simply being left-wing, and that somehow absolves them of their bigotry. They are truly in a cult. Anyway, that's about it for this video. I might have a part 3, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you want a part 3. I'm Alpha Eagle. God bless you for watching. God bless America. And I pray that Bob notices his double standards and leaves the left-wing cult that he's in.